Thank y'all boys for tuning in with us as always on the Full Court Entertainment Podcast. You already know who it is. It's your boy GQ Tuesday, Aaron GQ Worthy, and Sam, Sneaky Sam at that. Careful, he's shiesty. Yeah, so we're going to start off talking about the Nets drama. Go on ahead, Sheldon, since you love the Brooklyn Nets so much. Go on here and tell us about that drama, what's going on.
I don't love the Brooklyn Nets.
I know.
I just think they're just going through a lot. We saw they fired their head coach. We saw they about to bring in another head coach who has some other BS going on. And it's like, does he deserve another job? He probably do, but it's just y'all moved a little too quickly. Like y'all, it's probably another whole bunch of other candidates. Even the interim coach, y'all not even gonna give him a chance. So y'all just move straight to Ime Udoka. Like, and then we got Kyrie. We know what Kyrie is, bro. He be tweaking. Kyrie just be straight tweaking. And we not gonna get in like all that other stuff about the video and all that, but he just be doing the most. And KD just there, bro. It's like he not trying to make things better. He just want to hoop, like he always say. He just want to hoop. So they just need to get their act together because they 2-6, and they at the bottom. And it's not looking. I had them at the top, but it's looking like, as of right now, looking like straight play-in, just straight play-in tournament. Because I don't think they're gonna make it to the top now.
You know what? It's crazy. I'm actually surprised that they fired Steve Nash at this point because they should have fired him in the offseason when KD made that demand. Because you stood behind him at that point, but then you fire him, 6-7 games into the season. And we talking about a coach who had a 94-67 record. And this wasn't the easiest situation to come into.
I'm not going to.
So, go ahead.
No. I was just saying side bit, like, I don't know if that 94-67 record really – is that because of his coaching or because it's the overwhelming talent?
Either way. It might be more because of talent, but either way. It's still, yeah. How many coaches have had super teams and still had a losing record for barely above 500? So I'm saying he deserves some credit. Not all the credit, but some credit at least. But I think they should have just rolled with him for the rest of the season at least and then fire him after the season because I can't remember another time where, maybe when the Cavs fired David Blatt and then Tyronn Lue got promoted, to where you fire your coach not even midway through the season and bring in a whole nother coach. But at least Tyronn Lue was in-house at that point. Ime Udoka is coming from a whole nother organization. And like Sheldon said, is dealing with his own drama. So it's just a mess at this point. And then, of course, you got the Kyrie Irving situation. And Kevin Durant, as he stated before, he does not care about being a leader necessarily. He just wants to hoop. If that's what you wanted, this was the worst situation you could have put yourself in. This is the worst running mate you could have chosen because you knew what type of person he was before even becoming his teammate.
So it's KD.
It seems like KD should have stayed in Golden State if that's all he wanted to do was hoop.
It's KD fault then. I ain't gonna hold you. It sounds like it's his fault. He wanted to hang out with his boy Kyrie, who he ruined the Nets. Honestly, when the Nets team had that D'Angelo Russell, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, I liked that team. They was like the 6th seed. I like that team. They was lit. They was on the sideline dancing to Playboy Cardi. They was lit. I loved it. Then KD come. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit of the player empowerment problem, but at the same time, I still think it's management fault. I think it's more management fault than anything, because as a franchise and organization, you should be trying to always put the team first before like players' demands. Like I know we said like over the summer, like pre-podcast and everything, but like I just feel like these organizations, they let these players show up and just stomp all over them. Like as much drama as Kyrie Irving was, you knew Kyrie was that type of person, so you should have already known. You should have saged up and been ready to deal with Kyrie. You should have known as long as Kevin Durant been hooping, He is not a leader. We know Kevin Durant is not a leader, bro. He the best player. Being the best player doesn't always correlate to being the leader. We see with the Celtics, Marcus Smart is the leader. He is not the best player. We know that for sure. So that's just my little take. Well, I know one of y'all got something to say about it. So go on here. Who want to bite into it?
I mean, the Nets just don't have a leader. Kyrie is like, he's the leader, but he's not supposed to be the leader. Because he just be all over the place. So when he probably speak, you just be like, bro, what are you talking about? So he can't be the leader. KD, he just probably be like, yeah, bro, whatever. And then that's it. And it's like, who else? Ben Simmons ain't no leader, so they don't have a leader, and that's their problem. They just don't have a leader, and the management, it's management fault. But I mean, to an extent though, I don't say you have to give KD and Kyrie all the power, but you gotta give them I say some input at least. But they gave them power, like they could do whatever they want. Because I remember over the summer you said that KD ain't asked for James Harden, and we know he did. Like, we know he did. KD went to management and said, I want James Harden on the team. And they was like, all right, we'll figure out let's make a trade. And here we come. They gave up 3 good players. Not no average role players. They gave up 3 decent players. Jared Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Karis LeVert. That team was cold. With Kyrie, KD, and all of them, that team was good. They probably could have made it to the finals. But you got to listen to what the stars say, man. But that's just how it works. That's just really how it works, especially who it is, bro. KD stature, bro, I don't say you're going to listen to him, but you're going to be like, yeah, okay, KD. We'll think about it. We'll do it. We'll probably do it.
I mean, I agree that stars a lot of the time have a lot of power, but the Nets actually did a good job of not caving in this summer, though. KD wanted to be traded. He didn't get traded. He has no leverage. And that's the thing with player empowerment is because they have a lot of leverage with these guaranteed contracts. As you saw, when AD came to Los Angeles, what was it? He was able to go where he wanted to go because he only had, a year left on his contract? At that point, you have to trade him to where he wants to go, because if not, you're going to lose him for nothing. Just like when OKC lost KD for nothing and he just signed with Golden State. They should have traded him a year prior to at least get something in return. So it's always about leverage. And in this particular situation, the Nets had the leverage when it came to the KD trade situation and with Steve Nash. You don't have to fire the coach. You don't have to fire the GM. That's why I was shocked that they fired him 7 games in.
But they were saying
you never know what could happen.
They were saying that they was preparing this to happen, though. Like, they was preparing to fire him. But I guess, like, it just them losing, them giving up 120-something points a game, it was just like, all right, Steve Nash, you're just giving us a reason now to get rid of you. You're just giving us a reason. And then there was that quote saying they're not responding to he told Sean Martin, like, they're not responding to me. I mean, they probably really didn't like you since day one. Remember Kyrie said we don't need a coach? I mean, they probably just, you the coach, but you just a coach, but you're not the person that I'm gonna listen to.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens when Ime Udoka comes. We'll see if he can help them improve on the defensive end, but they still don't have enough defensive-minded personnel to really improve that dramatically. I like Royce O'Neal. Ben Simmons, when his mind is right, is a top defender. KD is a good help side defender, but still need good rim protection. Nick Claxton can only do so much. So, we'll see. I don't know if they're going to try to sign somebody off the street, maybe a Dwight Howard or somebody to help with rim protection and just inside presence, but we'll see. Changing the coach, I think, is not going to be the only thing that they need to do to improve their situation.
Wow. My twins said the exact same thing I said 2 days ago. Wow.
He your twin. He's supposed to say the same thing as you, right? That's what twins do.
But I ain't talked to him in who knows how long. So, wow, it's just amazing how it's just crazy. Wow, I said the same exact thing, but
Well, just share the off podcast conversation, Sheldon. Go ahead.
You think Ime Udoka gonna be God and just change the whole team?
That's not what I said.
That's basically what you said, though.
Why do you try to summarize people's points like that?
That's basically you said that Ime is gonna make them into a basically in the middle of the pack defense because they're already at the bottom. They're giving up 120 some points a game, and when I said that the Nets have nobody on that team that can play really good defense, and we can go to undisputed. I sent you the videos. Shannon Sharp said the exact same thing I said 2 days before they put that episode up. I said the exact same thing.
And Skip said the exact same thing I said.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Not say that. No,
yes.
You said that they have you said they have TJ Warren. He's a body. And I'm like, you're asking TJ Warren to play some type of defense when he doesn't play defense. You asking Royce O'Neal to basically be the best defender now because Ben Simmons is just not it right now. Ben Simmons, I said, we know what he can do. We know what Ben Simmons can do, but he's just not there right now. Now you're going to ask Kyrie to play some type of defense. You're going to ask him. You saying, well, he could just be a decent help defender.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to say what you said. I'm gonna need you to say what you said, and I'll say what I said because clearly you are not repeating the same things I said. So you say what you said. You go and say what you said.
That's what you said, though.
No. It's not. It's not, Sheldon. Just go ahead and say what you said, and then I'll go after you.
My twin said the exact same thing. He said what I said. They don't have the player personnel. Because now I gotta ask Steph Curry, who don't play defense, Patty Mills, who don't play defense, KD, he just a help defender, Kyrie, he don't play defense. So now my best defenders are Ben Simmons, he ain't there, and Royce O'Neal. And Claxton is too skinny. So he's an okay rim protector, but he's just not it. And I said Ime Udoka had good defenders on the Celtics. He had Jason Tatum, he had Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Grant Williams, Al Horford. They don't have no type of players on that team on the Nets. And I said they're going to still be at the bottom 10. Now, will they be in the bottom 3? I don't know. Baby, but they will be at the bottom 10. It's not like they're going to jump all the way up and give up only 110 points a game. No, they still, because they just don't got the personnel.
All right. So I was just pretty much just saying that I think, yeah, they don't have enough to be the top, to be the best defensive team, but I think they could be somewhere in the middle. Like I was saying, I think, yeah, they still need better players, but I don't think they're going to be the worst. I think if you bring in a coach like that, I think he is going to still try to figure out a scheme to where, like, the perimeters is, he still got Ben Simmons, he still got Royce O'Neal. I still think they're going to figure out a way to try to ice the floor and put the chances for the best available shot is probably going to be going to one of the weaker persons on the opposite team. I still think they got a scheme for it. I said that I don't think that you need to be asking for any of these players that aren't defensive players to become an all-team defense, second-team defense, any of that. I think they just need to buy in on help, learning to use their wingspan, and try to cut off a few passing lanes. KD, I think he get a lot of bullshit thrown at him about his bad defense, but his defense actually isn't bad, though, because his wingspan allows him to make up for a lot of other defending mistakes. I think the biggest person on defense to worry about is Kyrie Irving. I think outside of that, if you look at it, they do got a chance to be a mediocre defensive team. I'm not saying they're going to be the best. I'm not saying they're going to be the worst. I don't think they're going to be a super sorry defensive team if they had Ime Udoka. I think they got a chance at being somewhat mediocre or just all right. I'm not saying they're going to jump to the top of the pack. I'm not saying they're going to be at the bottom of it. I think they got a chance of just being somewhat mediocre. And like you said, they don't have the pieces to be a great defensive team. I agree with you. I conceded on that point. But I do think they have the chance to somewhat be mediocre, somewhere in the middle. Now, that's all I'm saying. I'm not asking for them to be all-team defense. I'm asking for them to ice the floor. I'm asking for them to clog a little bit of the passing lanes. That's about it, bro. I'm asking for bad defensive players to just get a little bit smarter. That's it.
So, and I think they could potentially, best case scenario, like I said, be right at about average, maybe a little bit below average. Because, once again, Ben Simmons was an all-defensive first-team player. KD has been an underrated defender from a help defense and shot blocking perspective for almost his entire career. And Nick Claxton, he can block shots, but once again, their biggest weakness is interior defense. So that's the biggest thing. I don't see anybody on this roster that can help with that. Perimeter-wise, Ben Simmons should be able to carry them, but he's still coming back from the back injury, and it seems like he still doesn't have his mind fully here. So, and when you have Kyrie, who is a turnstile at times, Steph Curry turnstile, Patty Mills turnstile, you're small up front in the backcourt. And there's nothing you can do about that besides bringing in more people, or the people you do have just make more consistent effort. Because at the end of the day, defense is all about effort and desire. So you just got to buckle down, sit in that chair, and just put in the work. But at this point, are they really going to do that, though?
No.
These aren't young players on the Nets that's making an impact. These are veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Veterans who don't have the same hustle, don't have the same intensity that they probably did in their younger years. So I would say they definitely have a ceiling, and the ceiling is not that high for what type of defensive team they can be.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm going up to Kyrie Irving and say, bro, you got to do something on the defensive end. Do something. This the Kyrie Irving that come up to your face and say, get out my face, bro. That's the same Kyrie Irving. Go ahead. I know you got to say something. Go ahead. You always got to say something. Go ahead.
I'm just reacting. I'm reacting to what you're saying. I ain't got nothing to say. Go ahead.
You got to ask KD to do something on the defensive end. Something. Bro, we looking at this year, bro. They're getting cooked. They're getting cooked by the Pacers. They're losing to teams that they should not be losing to, bro. They're giving up 122 points per game. That's third worst in the NBA so far. It just doesn't matter. Like Aaron said, you got effort and desire, bro. And that team, they just don't got it, bro. I'm going to ask Kevin Durant, 35, I think. Is he 35, 34, 35, whatever he is, to do something on defense? And it's like, will he do it? I doubt it. Kyrie Irving, will he do it? Well, he's never done it. And I don't think he's going to change now. So now my best defenders are Royce O'Neal and Ben Simmons.
He's 34.
The biggest issue is that they're getting beat off the dribble way too easily. And then once the opponent gets into the paint, they can't defend the paint. They can't defend the rim. So it's either you're going to give up that easy layup, or if you try to collapse, they're going to kick it out for a three. And then the floodgates open at that point. So how do you fix that?
You can't. I don't think you can.
It's scheme and effort at that point. So that's what I said. To Shondale's point, hopefully Ime can come in with a scheme that maximizes their abilities on the defensive end.
I think though, like, it really starts with like leadership. It starts with leadership, because a lot of people may not understand, like, this shit may sound different from basketball, but it's really just leadership in a direction, a mentor. A lot of these players, a lot of these people on the team, Steph Curry comments came out about Steve Nash coaching was that it was really just pick up basketball. Steve Nash didn't have the experience needed to ever be a head coach to this team. And Steve Nash was a more quiet, laid back person. He didn't get heated up and intense in moments. So I think when you get like the player empowerment movement, you got these superstars. You had at one point 3 superstars, some of the biggest players to ever play basketball. You need a personality, a person that could be like someone that's going to walk up to Kyrie and be like, hey, look, man, somebody need to check him. Somebody need to actually say something to Kevin Durant. We see the type of fickle person Kevin Durant is. And I know we tried to see like we seen on Undisputed. Pop tried to say some things to Kawhi and he left, but I think he was going to leave regardless. I think, though, you kind of need these strong personalities as a coach to actually get up in them and grill them, because it's a sport. At the end of the day, it's a sport. I know we don't see it much, but behind the locker room, these coaches, they say wild, crazy things to them. I done seen a coach hit a player in the chest for like, man, I told you, like, when you get out here, you do this, you don't do that. And I was like, hey, like, somebody got to talk to them. Somebody got to be able to say it. Like, it should have been someone that told Zion about his weight a long time ago. Someone needs to actually start. Like, when Bron wanted Eric Spoelstra fired, what you think Pat Riley really said to him? What you think he really said to him? Like, somebody got to really talk to these. Like, I think if Kyrie ain't saying, no, get the fuck out of my face, Kyrie going to probably try to talk to you about Africa and the journey. I think somebody need to really say to him, Kyrie, man, you got bad timing and you don't know how to articulate yourself. You want to be the voice for the people, but when you get grilled by reporters, you don't know how to answer. You got to be both. I think somebody need to talk to Kevin Durant like, man, you need to speak up for yourself. If you could tweet so much on Twitter, then you need to learn how to talk to these other players on the court. Do this, do that. I think it starts with leadership. That shit come from within. These are some of the biggest, strongest people in the world right now. They can step up and get some effort. That's no one's talking to them. That's why, and they're scared to talk to them. And picking Steve Nash to talk to them was the wrong thing. I bet if Draymond was the head coach, they have a little bit of defense. But I'm just sweating. Let me stop.
I ain't gonna lie. None of them never been good leaders in their careers in the NBA. They was probably never the leaders.
And that's what irked Kyrie so much about LeBron. We seen him on the I Am Athlete podcast. He hated LeBron for trying to be the leader. He thought he could outplay LeBron and be the leader. And we saw how he kind of hinted that Bron beat him in a one-on-one, and it kind of humbled him. Being the best player don't make you the leader. And that's what he hated, because he thought he could outwork leadership. You can't outwork leadership, buddy.
Yeah, and if they had good leadership, James Harden would still be on the team. Because Kyrie wouldn't have had 1 foot in, 1 foot out when it came to the whole vaccine stuff. He would have said either, okay, I'm going to commit and get the vaccine just like everybody else, or I'm going to just shut it down for the season and just leave it at that. Because you're causing a distraction at some point. But it is with Kyrie, it's just like it's always something. Like if you have these thoughts and whatnot and you want to, talk about this and that, okay, do it on your own time. Don't put it on social media when you know the type of controversy it's going to cause. Even if it was with good intent, it's about perception.
It's timing, perception. They're like, what? That was so dumb. That's dumb. Like no one around Kyrie was like, bro, that's dumb. No one's like, hey, bro, that's like bringing up Rosa Parks at the hookah bar. Don't nobody want to talk about that.
I wonder if anybody ever recommended for him to get like a social media manager, or if he already has one.
I doubt it.
Are they not able to hold him accountable and say, no, this might not be the best tweet?
They're scared of these people. They like, ain't nothing wrong with getting media training, knowing how to act. When he tried to go on First Take and he thought he was going to beat Stephen A. Smith, a 30-year journalist.
He went on there with a fresh face, no mustache, no beard, no none of that. He went on there clean.
Yeah, man.
Man, it's just a mess, man. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. It's just, I don't even see. I get why you would want Ime Udoka, but it's like he has his own drama. You literally hired a coach who just got suspended from his team for internal issues and drama and scandal. So.
And they not even
now that's going
to be for him. So it's like they know they basically gonna get rid of him for nothing. They're not even gonna get like a first, second round pick back for him. They already knew who they wanted. They knew who they wanted from day one. So, but it's like, why him out of all the people? They probably been talking to him for a minute.
He the best available.
Is he the best available?
I think he is.
Snyder is available. Quinn Snyder is available.
Is he?
He is available. He's a good coach.
But my thing is, why not just have the interim coach? Why would you want to bring in a whole new coach?
He wasn't that good with the Magic.
Wasn't there doing training camp and whatnot. Like, why would you even want to do that?
Because they
just
already
stick with the interim coach. Stick with the interim coach for this season, then hire Ime in the off season. So that way it's a smooth transition.
I think they're going after Ime because they know his personality. Like, the small little things that came out about his personality was that he was a little mean and blunt. That, like, he kind of got on Marcus Smart. Like, he got on Marcus Smart for his comments that he said to the media early last year. Like, the small things that came out about him was that, like, he low-key a little bit of mean. He kind of mean.
Yeah, but
I mean, I get that.
That's two people on that team that got thick skin, bro. So if you say something to them, they might go behind your back and say something. So Marcus Smart probably told him and said, okay, you right, coach. You right, I need to start doing this. But if you say something to KD like, bro, coach tripping. That's just what they are. That's just them two. That's just what they are. Like, bro, let's just be serious. KD's soft. KD's soft. He's soft. Because every time somebody talk about him, he has to go to Twitter. He has to. You don't have to respond, bro. But it's like he has to respond. He has to respond. Remember what on Pick a Side podcast, when they talked about him, what'd he do? He responded to them. Just a regular podcast. He responded to them because they talked about him. This wasn't nobody famous, no other athlete. It was just a regular podcast, just like us. They said something about him, and what did he do? Said something to them. He
called himself a god.
He's soft.
I don't know, man. And I forget what show I saw it on, but I think somebody said when you're dealing with two made men like Kyrie and KD, you need a coach who's also a made man, not a first-time head coach. You need somebody that's on the level of like a Greg Popovich or a Phil Jackson, somebody who can hold them accountable, who they actually gonna respect. KD probably sees Steve Nash as a peer somewhat because KD was in the league when Steve Nash was still there and playing and still a good player.
Yeah.
So he does not respect him like he would a Pop. Kyrie thinks he's a better player all time than Steve Nash, so he probably does not respect him like that.
He'll never win an MVP. He putting up some good numbers this season, but he'll never win an MVP.
He's a better player than Steve Nash, though. He's better than him. He's a better player.
I disagree with that.
I don't know about that one.
We had that discussion.
I don't know.
We can have that discussion for another show. We'll say that one for another show, but
we might need it because we low key just blew through two topics. We low key combined them.
It's just crazy, man. I mean, I hope they'll figure it out though, because I mean, on paper, very good team, but it has not. Been the case on
let me ask you something then. So with all this drama and how these players try to use this leverage, what you think this do for the CBA coming up like next year?
It's going to have to be something with – no, they're not going to get rid of guaranteed contracts. I'm not even sure. I don't know what you could do. The Players Association isn't going to guarantee to lesser, shorter deals or anything of that nature. I mean, the only thing they could probably do is you can't demand a trade until you've completed maybe, let's say, 60% of your contract. Something of that nature. So if it's a 5-year deal, you have to be there at least 3 years. You have to fulfill at least 3 years of the contract before you can demand a trade. Something of that nature. I don't know.
That's a little long. Because usually deals are only 4 to 5. Well, max contract is 5. And then like a regular, not a super max, but just a max deal is 4. I don't know about that. I mean, I'd say at least 2. I'd say at least half. Get your trial run in. Get your trial run.
I mean, it's got to be something. It's got to be something to deter all of this instantly signing the contract and then demanding a trade, 12 months later? Like, you can't have that.
Yeah, because I think a lot of these players, they messing up the bag. They messing up the bag and hard work that players put before them. The Ben Simmons mental health thing. Do I think Ben Simmons really has something going on mentally? Not really. I don't think it was that severe. I think it was the Philly media that I don't think that was severe enough to keep him off the court. No, because if that was the case, he would have just mentioned his back and the surgery thing. I think he got scapegoat with that. And you got a lot of players. You got a lot of players requesting trades and not playing games, injury management, and the organization really getting held hostage. They getting held hostage. I don't think these rich people going to just keep letting these players screw them around like that. Not at all.
I know. It's like when I forget which season that was. Maybe one of y'all know when Kyrie took like 2 weeks off because he was just so
one season ago.
I guess distracted. It was okay. Oh, it was the year. Yeah, okay. It was before last season. Yeah,
the first year after the bubble.
It was 2 seasons ago. We got distracted with, I guess, the stuff that happened at the Capitol. I think that was the situation. He took 2 weeks off. Like he just decided he gonna take 2 weeks off, and he's still getting paid $30-40 million, taking 2 weeks off, and he's not injured, no death in the family, none of that. I mean, mind you, it was a terrible situation, but it's like you still got responsibilities because none of us can call off work for 2 weeks because we feel some type of way about what happened in the Capitol, we're going to get fired.
Yeah, he did. He did show up to his sister's birthday party at the club like that night of the game.
I mean, I understand they live in a different reality, but it's like, come on, man, you still got to be dependable. You still got to fulfill your obligations. You're a professional, so.
I don't know, because it's like it's a star-driven league. Stars are like they're the rulers to an extent. It's the owners. They own the team and all that, but I mean,
they only have power that the owners give. They only have power that the owners gave. The owners are the ones signing the checks. At the end of the day, the players are an employee. The owners are the owners. Players only have power that the owners give them.
Yeah, I ain't never seen LeBron request no trade.
Because let's say the owners say, okay, we're not going to stand for this anymore, and they say we're going to be hard on, guaranteed contracts, whatever, and the Players Association don't like it or the players don't like it. What's going to happen? It's going to be a strike. Whose money is going to last longer, the players or the billionaires? They're going to have to show up and play at some point. Everybody isn't making $40, $50 million a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it comes down to leverage. Leverage and what you're willing to fight for. And so it's going to be interesting once this new CBA negotiations start.
I mean, like, say if a player asks for, like, a trade and then the owner say no, like with the KD probably could have said, just release me then. And then if you release me, now you screwed. Now you're back to being weak. Then he could just go to another team and then another owner could just give him some power that the Nets didn't want to give to him.
Well, no, they weren't going to buy KD out.
I know, I'm just saying.
KD had no leverage whatsoever. He has 4 years left on his. He has no choice but to play. What are you going to do? Sit out? And then guess what? His contract is going to get voided. He's not going to get paid.
I think if something like that happened, I think the owners, they're going to blackball him. They're not going to sign. If something like that really happened, he released, they're going to all talk to each other. Because there is not just something like if you release a player in fantasy, somebody's going to be like, if he did that, why wouldn't he do it to us? Like with the Nets going after Kyrie from Boston, like they should have looked at that and been like, man, this dude's like him requesting a trade from Cleveland to Boston and the Nets. Like they have to look at that. If something like that happens, that's on them signing players that do things like that. That is on them. I'm not finna get with the girl that cheated on her boyfriend and asked to marry her. Like, what you think she gonna do to me?
But Kyrie has past history. This is KD's first time. And, bro, it's going to be a sweepstakes for KD, bro. No matter what he did, ask for the trade, ask for my release, bro, they're going to give him whatever he wants if he's on the free agent market. Because when was the last time a Kevin Durant was on the free agent market? It don't happen that often. It doesn't happen that often with those type of players on the free agent market. They're going to sign him. They don't care all that BS ask for a trade. Yeah, they're going to think about it. They're going to be like, why did he ask for a trade? But they don't care. If he can help me win championships, I'm going to sign him. I'll sign him too.
He only has power if someone gives him power, meaning somebody offers him a contract. If all the owners came together and say, we're not going to sign you, what is KD going to do?
It's an illusion. Power is an illusion.
Exactly.
But you know that's
but it can happen. I know it's not, but you got to understand the owners have the power. The person who signs the check has the power.
Yeah, but but we all know superstars have some type of power. They do. That's facts. LeBron has some power. He does. They always LeBron. He don't say it, but it's like people like, man, LeBron, why you pick this? Why you pick these players? LeBron didn't pick these players, bro. LeBron probably did pick some of these players. Not probably this team, but maybe last year's team. Because I don't think he asked for these weak players.
Hey, you think like it's become okay, I was talking to somebody, one of my homies from London, and they was talking about how like over there, they was like when LeBron left Cleveland to go to LA, they was like, if you're not like a LA fan, you can't like really be rooting for Bron and stuff no more. That's still that fan base, they still loyal to the teams. But I was like over here, I was like, it don't really matter. Like if LeBron go to LA, we're not saying you're a LA fan, but like if you rooting and cheering for LeBron, we more follow the player. We don't stick with the team. So it's kind of like in the same sense, it's like, did that like really kind of hurt the league in a sense too? Because they kind of like made it more about the players than they do about the teams. And then it's just essentially just saying like, the players really are running the league. It doesn't matter. Like, even if Kevin Durant do the worst thing possible to get out of there, somebody gonna just go off and sign him. Did like the league hurt itself making it about the player then?
I mean, it's a double-edged sword. When you market the players, it makes the game more popular, but it gives them too much power. I mean, look at the NFL. One player does not have all that power, even if it's the quarterback. No, the team is still about the team more than the player. The team is marketed more than the individual player. I mean, it might be different because the NFL players are wearing helmets and whatnot, so they may not be as marketable unless you're the quarterback, but it's just the fact that something is going to have to be done to stop with the silliness that's constantly going on with these players in the NBA. I don't know what it is. It's got to be something with the contracts. I mean, that's the only way that these players have the leverages when they're in that last year of their contract, and then they demand a trade going to a specific team, and there's nothing you can do about it. Because who's going to trade for a player that isn't going to, who has already stated he's not going to re-sign? The Raptors are the only team I can think of that actually did that with Kawhi, and it happened to work out. But teams aren't going to be willing to take that same type of risk.
Kawhi should have stayed. He should have stayed.
He should have stayed in Canada, bro.
If he stayed, look at that team, man.
I don't think they would have had all them there. That's the case. They wouldn't have had all them.
They probably wouldn't have signed Siakam for as much. My bad, Aaron. Go ahead.
I know. I was about to say the only thing I can think of is if you make the contract shorter. You make the contract shorter. You take away the no trade clause and all this other stuff, but that's not going to happen. You're just going to end up in a lockout.
So you think it's strike coming? You think it's strike coming?
Yeah. If the owners do what they should do, which is start putting their foot down on certain stuff, yeah, it increases the chance of a strike coming. I hope it doesn't happen, but it's definitely a possibility. Though.
You know that TV deal finna get renegotiated too. They asking for $75 billion.
Exactly. You know the players are gonna want a bigger cut of that too. So yeah, go crazy.
Player empowerment is the move that is gonna happen, bro. There's nothing you can really do. It's hard. Like the LeBron when he was on the Cavs the second time, he had power because he never signed his contract until later, like closer to say training camp, because he wanted to see what was gonna happen, bro. He went to David Griffin and was like, you gonna resign Tristan Thompson? You gonna give JR this new deal? He told them that. And I bet they didn't want to give J.R. Smith that little decent contract, Tristan Thompson that decent contract. But LeBron told David Griffin probably, bro, you give them their money, but I'll wait in the back and see what you do. LeBron had power. That's just how it is when it's a superstar. That's just how it is.
Like Shondale said earlier, power is an illusion. If the owner says, guess what? You're not finna sit here and hold this franchise hostage. We gonna do what we gonna do. Either you sign or you don't. Move on. We're not about to sit here and play these type of games. If we gonna sit here, I'll sit here and lose. But I want people that's gonna actually be here and play. I want people that actually be here.
You ain't telling LeBron to move on, bro.
Sheldon.
No, if the owner had that type of confidence to say that, yeah, why not? LeBron is not going to be around forever. You can't set that type of precedent.
Sheldon, I got a question, Joe. So what about right now? It kind of seemed like Bron kind of been pressuring them to trade them picks since last year. What you think about like right now then?
Should they trade the picks?
Like LeBron pressuring them to trade the picks. If he got as much power as we think they should, like why the picks? Why they ain't been traded yet?
That's because this year LeBron is older. We're talking about Cavs LeBron like 5 years ago. This is an older LeBron. I understand why they are trying to keep the picks. I understand because in 2027 and 2029, the Lakers gonna be trash. So they know because it's like, and they're unprotected. So that pick could be number 1 overall pick, and they can get whoever gonna be the rawest player out of college or the G League by then. So of course they're gonna do that. But like I said before, if you want to help LeBron win one more championship, trade the picks, trade them. They just don't trust LeBron. But I think Jeannie is one of them owners that probably has put her foot down. But I do think Rob Pelinka wants to trade the picks, but Jeannie is telling him don't do it. I think Rob Pelinka wants to trade the picks. But Jeannie is telling him don't do it.
You trading the picks?
Hell yeah, that team sucked.
You think? My man to cut you off, Aaron, but one more. So you think Miles Turner and Buddy Hield make them a championship team?
First of all, you can't even say his last name right, Buddy Hield. But
my bad.
They can be a better team than what they are now, bro. That's just showing that you're not trying to help LeBron. That's just showing you ain't trying to help him. If y'all, what did they say in the summer? They say they be trying to make the best roster. They want LeBron to succeed. You're not trying to let him succeed. Then stop lying. Then don't come out and say you want this team to be good, but you're not trying to help him. That's all I'm saying. Go on, say what you mean. If you don't want, just come out and say we're just not gonna trade the picks. We're gonna let these 2 years fly by with LeBron, just be either below average or terrible, and let LeBron retire in the sunset, and then they're gonna look back and be like, why they ain't help LeBron with his last couple of years? And they have a chance to do it. They have a chance. But they just don't want to help him. They don't want to help him. But I understand why, because he's old. He's older now. He's 37. I understand. But I would do it, though, because I want LeBron at least have a chance to win one more ring. You're not even giving him a chance to win one more ring.
I mean, if they were to make that trade, Buddy Hield and Miles Turner fills needs that they have, which is shooting and rim protection. So it does help in the short term. But once again, like Sheldon said, LeBron is 37. What is this team going to look like in 2027 and 2029? AD either is going to be washed at that point from injuries or whatnot, or he's not even going to be on the team. Russ isn't going to be there. If anything, you better off just riding it out this season. Russ is going to leave after this season because this is his last season. Then you should have cap space to sign some decent shooting in the offseason. So that might be the best thing, unless you can find a trade destination for Russ. But we'll see. It depends on what
they would have traded them picks in a heartbeat. If Kobe was there and still good, they would have traded them picks in a heartbeat.
I don't know. Look, Kobe demanded a trade out of LA. They didn't
love
that. So,
Kobe,
okay.
If Kobe would have went up to them and said, "Hey, man, I need some help. Trade them picks," well, they would trade them in a heartbeat. They would.
If Kobe was 37, 38, I still don't think they would.
I'm saying if he was still good, not the injuries aside, though, because he was hurt when he was like 37 and all that. But I'm saying if he was still playing good, averaging 20, whatever. If he was still playing at a high level, they probably would have did it for Kobe, but they're not gonna do it for LeBron.
Before the Achilles, when he averaging like 23 at like 35 or something.
No, he was still averaging like 26, 27, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was still getting buckets, but
they were terrible.
They weren't a good team, though. Yeah,
he had the young core that the Lakers traded away for him too. But I don't know. I don't think adding Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, I don't think that's enough to win in the West. I don't think so. Not at all.
Who knows?
We'll see. So going on.
We'll never know if they don't trade the picks. We'll never know.
It's gonna happen. We're gonna see the trade. It's gonna happen. We're gonna see it happen. So going on, we got Kareem versus LeBron. And I was saying on myself that I don't really think the conversation of comparing Kareem versus LeBron, like, or even just when you do it like Mike, Bron, I don't think the conversation really makes sense when people try to compare achievements to other achievements to what players do. Because I think when you're talking about player to player, you should be talking about what they can do, skills on the court. Because LeBron James' skill set, if you was to really just compare it against Mike, LeBron James is the better player. LeBron James is the better player than Kareem. Because Kareem is just an inside guy. Hook shot, post moves, all that. Mike, crazy scorer, good defender. But LeBron James, he's better because he got the shot. He could drive. He's the floor general. And I'm pretty sure he was all-team defense at least one time too, right?
I think 6 times.
LeBron James?
Yeah. 6 times all defense, I think.
What a resume. But not to talk about that stuff, though. Talking about, like, bringing up achievements. Because like, I seen something when somebody said it was like, when you talk about achievements, anybody can just pull up Basketball Reference and talk about, well, he did this, he did that, he did this. Just reading off the list that doesn't make you the better player. But like how Sheldon kind of said, like Steve Nash versus Kyrie the better player, low key, that's a real conversation about basketball you got to have.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's about what is your impact on winning, and achievements is a reflection of your impact on the court. So, can you you can say LeBron is a better passer or playmaker than Kareem. Obviously, they play two different positions. They have two different responsibilities. But just because Kareem wasn't bringing the ball up or facilitating like that, does that mean he had less impact on winning than LeBron? The man won 6 titles. He won 6 MVPs. I mean, he has an unstoppable shot. What does all the playmaking in the world do against a person who shot you can't block? And that contributed to 6 titles. So what are we talking about? Are we just talking about who has the best skills? Because now we're going to go back to the conversation about Kyrie and KD being the 2 most skilled players ever. And where did that get them? Got them swept. How does that translate to winning? Isn't that what playing the game is about, winning?
Yeah, it's about winning.
Okay, and so you can make the argument that Kareem had a greater impact on winning or just as much as LeBron.
I don't know about that.
LeBron and Kareem are the 3 most popular choices for the GOAT for a reason.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you got to add the achievements to an extent, though. That's why I said, like, Kareem, LeBron is probably a better player than Kareem, but if you're going to add everything together, Kareem, if you want to add the accolades and his skill, you could argue Kareem probably is better than LeBron and Mike. You could add it. But for some reason, they don't put Kareem in the GOAT. They really don't put him. It's like they put him in the GOAT, but they don't put him in the GOAT debate. They just don't. They never want to put him over Mike for some apparent reason. And I've always said, LeBron is a better player than Jordan. It's just people say Jordan, he went to the final 6 times and ain't lose. And that's what gets him over top. Yeah, he got all these scoring titles. I think he got a defensive player of the year, and he all defense. But LeBron is just a better player than him. But I feel like we have to, like, put everything combined together. And if you put everything combined together, LeBron is probably better than Jordan combined together. LeBron has 4 rings. I mean, he been to the finals, whatever, how many times. Yeah, he don't got 6, but he has 4 MVPs. All defensive. He did get defensive team, not defensive team, but in the defensive year award, he was second. He should have won that year. Should have won, but another story for another day. I just feel like we have to add accolades and their skills together.
But the thing is with Mike and LeBron in that debate, it's like, okay, yes, LeBron is a better facilitator, but Mike was still a great facilitator in his own right. Defense, Mike was first team all defense, 10 times, I think? 9, 12 times? He was a better defender than LeBron. LeBron was just more versatile because, he was simply bigger. So, and then just pure impact on winning, is it comparable?
You could compare
pure impact on winning year in, year out. And then it comes down to the thing with LeBron and Mike is LeBron is going to be greater longer because he's in year 20 and still hasn't fallen off a cliff. But at their absolute peak, was he better than Mike? And me, I still give it to Mike. And LeBron is right there at number 2. It's not a big gap, but I think at their absolute peak, Mike is the GOAT. And then I will put Kareem in that conversation.
If LeBron wins one more ring, bro, he better than him. But I think he better than him anyway. But if he just wins one more, I think the world is going to look and be like, LeBron might be better than Mike. He don't need to win 6. He don't need to win 6 to match him.
It comes down – at the end of the day, it comes down to preference. That's what it comes down to with these 2 players. You're not wrong either way. If you want to say LeBron is the GOAT, I'm not going to argue with you. If you say Mike is the GOAT, it is what it is too.
Yeah. I think LeBron. I think it's LeBron. He just plays the game better. He plays the game way better.
Kareem, yeah, like I say, Kareem has an argument too. Nobody has won more than him, whether it's individually or as a team. Well, besides Bill Russell. But as far as these 3, He has the same amount of championships as Mike. He has more MVPs than LeBron and Mike. Everything. So
I think when it's all said and done, Giannis is going to be better than Kareem, though.
He got to win the rings, bro. He got to at least win 2 more. He has to win at least 2 more.
We'll save that for another week because I got a good topic for that. So
it's more comparable. Like they positions is just that's what it is. We don't even play the game of basketball through through force anymore. They play the game more through guards these days in basketball. It's all pick and roll. It's a guard game out here. Facilitator game. It's not inside. Dish it to the big. So we don't play like that anymore.
Yeah, that's because back in the day, the guards wasn't all that good.
Or you could say it was just more good centers. I mean, you had Patrick Ewing, Hakeem, Shaq, David Robinson. Like the centers today in total is not enough like those centers. So if we had more of those, then maybe more teams would play.
It's definitely.
So I mean,
it was definitely a lot more skilled centers back then. It's only probably like 4 skilled centers. It's only 4. Giannis, if you want to put him at center, Giannis, Jokic, Kat, and Joel. That's it. They're the only 4 skilled centers in the NBA right now. Back then, there was probably a whole bunch of skilled big men. I mean, of course, we gonna play through guards, and everybody can't grow.
I would put Sabonis in that category, but of course, he doesn't have a big impact on. Yeah, he doesn't have a big impact on winning at the moment, though. But yeah, individually, he's very.
I give you that one.
I think that's like
five skilled bigs. 5 skilled bigs out of 30 teams.
That's not it. Yeah, that ain't it. I'm definitely in fantasy. You got to draft a big first because they gone. Ain't that many out there.
That ain't good. So
yeah, you got to be skilled like that, or you got to be just flat out dominant like Dwight was at his peak. He didn't have a polished post game, but guess what? He still dominated night in and night out and led his team to the finals, which is something that not a lot of centers have done, especially since him.
Yeah, he just talked about how he knocked Bron off to stop that Kobe and Bron finals. He said he hated the Muppet. He hated the Muppet. That's why he did it.
He did. I mean, that Magic team was good, though. They had a lot of shooters on that team. Shooters on that team.
Somebody said in the comments.
Too many shooters at that.
They was like, if that team was around right now in the NBA, they'd be giving people problems.
What's
that Magic team that went to the finals?
Oh, yeah, because it was inside out. They had nothing but shooters, and then they had a dominant inside.
Rashad. Who else they had? They had, I always.
Perkaloo. Well, they had Rashard Lewis, Perkaloo, Petrus, Jameer Nelson, JJ Redick.
Jameer Nelson.
They had a whole bunch of shooters on that team.
Jameer Nelson was nasty.
That was a good team. Yeah, it probably would have gave them problems now, but at the end of the day, though, you need some type of stars. It was basically just Dwight and a bunch of shooter role players. So I don't know if they would have. They probably would have made it far, but they definitely would have gave like some teams some problems and stayed playoff series.
I think they would have still. I think they would have still been making it to the Eastern Conference Finals at minimum.
Knocking the Bucks off?
At minimum.
Bucks probably.
Potentially, yeah. Because you're gonna sit here and tell me that Giannis would have dominated Dwight like he did DeAndre Ayton.
Dwight would have dominated Giannis.
Come on.
Whoa, we got to say that for next week. We got to say that for next week.
I'm not gonna go that far, but Giannis is not finna dominate Dwight like he did DeAndre Ayton. But we'll save it. I think next week's show going to be a good one as far as me. So.
Yeah. So what we have? We got Prime Dwight versus Giannis. That's nasty.
Yes, sir.
And man, thank y'all boys for tuning in with us as always. Full Court Entertainment Podcast. That hour kind of went back kind of fast. Not gonna hold you. As always, check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch. Yeah, like, sub, subscribe.
See y'all later.